Favorite superhero movie of all time?
Oh,
Let's go.
You go. Greg.
I would have to. I think it is The Dark Knight.
Nice.
Honestly, I think that's the one that hits the nail on the head for me.
Mark?
Protagonist, antagonist.
We might
go.
have the same.
You do it.
Superman
4, The Quest
1978.
for Peace.
Oh,
Okay,
good
sorry,
lord.
I thought you were-
Superman 4, obviously.
The original Superman is what got me into Superman, obviously, and it just holds up for me. It's
It
just
does hold
something
up.
that just feels
It's my
good.
second favorite. It is
Yeah.
my second favorite.
What's your favorite?
My favorite, and I know Cody's going to love this, is 2004's Spider-Man 2.
Spider-Man
Really?
2.
Okay.
And the reason
That's
is-
where my mind was also going, because I rewatched that not long ago, and I'm like, this is
I think it
better.
holds up.
I think it's better than all the other Spider-Man
It
movies.
definitely is.
Yeah.
And the thing about Spider-Man 2, which came out June 30th, 2004, and
This is why you're good at dates in the
I-
Schmodown, man.
you know,
So
it's the
crazy.
only thing I'm good at in the Schmodown is movie release dates.
Come on.
If that
You've
that
had your
category
runs, my
wasn't
friend.
there, it would be like it would be a massacre every time I was on that thing. But Spider-Man 2 just was the perfect embodiment of what made Spider-Man so great. Peter Parker's Spider-Man. If the first Spider-Man movie was like the Steve Ditko
Right.
Stanley Spider-Man interpretation, then Spider-Man 2 was the perfect interpretation of the Stanley John Romita years. It is the perfect adaptation, really, of Amazing Spider-Man number 50, which is one of the most important
JRJ,
comic.
yeah.
Okay. And just there was just one villain. It was just Doc Ock.
So do you
I
still?
gotta slightly change my answer. I would say Dark Knight's my favorite comic book movie, but I think superhero movie I would have, because
Really?
literally when I was
Oh,
popping in
I
my
see
head, I
what
was
you're
like
saying.
Spider-Man 2 or Dark Knight is one of those two.
Yeah.
So you
and when you're
guys-
saying about superhero movie, I would say it's Spider-Man 2.
Spider-Man 2.
So you guys
great.
like Spider-Man 2 more than Spider-Man Homecoming or Spider-Verse?
Yes.
1,000%.
Yes.
Spider-Verse though is my
Spider-Verse
favorite
is great,
Spider-Man movie.
but you know, as far as like just being like an animated film, you know,
you mean live action?
live action? You know, I love
Well-
Spider-Verse. It's a masterpiece.
Nothing.
Well, really quick, I want to know Cody and Alex's answers in the booth. What do you got, boys?
You ready for this one?
Yep.
Yeah.
Batman Begins.
Oh.
I love that. I
Yeah.
love Batman because I think it's better than Dark Knight Rises.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. all right.
Absolutely.
What about you, Alex?
Dark Knight #1, but also up there as Black Panther.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's a
Yeah.
good one too.
Wait, what's yours, Darina?
I mean, for the longest time,
Spider-Verse?
it's Dark Knight. As in, like, I think it's the best movie we've gotten about a superhero. And I grew up as a Batman Joker girl. Like, that's those two, other than like Magneto and
Titanium Man.
and Professor X. Those two were kind of like the not Titanium Man, Calendar Man actually. But I know those two were like, you know, it's the yin yang. It's like our everything
Right.
to do with the human condition. Like all of us, like fighting with what I said earlier, whether you want to be a hero or a villain, right? But as like my favorite that I think is the most fun we've ever had in a theater for me personally is Batman Returns.
Yeah.
Shut up, Cody! I knew you were gonna do that.
Why Batman Returns?
I love it so much. I don't care. It's
1992.
Michelle Pfeiffer as Catwoman
Yeah.
was like, yes, meow. Shut up, Cody. God damn it. I hate you.
Oh my God,
I hate
Cody,
you
you're
and
cracking
love
me
you.
up. Cody is cracking me up.
He was ready, and I knew it because he knew I was gonna say that.
When I was a kid, that movie horrified me. Like when
It was
I always
scary.
flashed
Me
like
too.
Penguin biting that guy's
Yeah.
Oh,
nose.
that was scary.
He's
But-
so gross.
But when I rewatched it, like I want to say like a year and a half ago, I loved it. It's my favorite I like it more than the Batman with Jack Nicholson.
Listen,
personally.
oh yeah, it's
Yeah.
better. I
Yeah.
don't care what people say. It's better.
Yeah.
It's a better movie.
because I love Spider-Man so much, that's sort of what gives Spider-Man 2 the edge. But when it comes down to just like what is an absolutely perfect superhero comic book based movie, I do have to agree with this Superman right here, Mr. Mark Riley. Superman the movie from 1978. First of all, it set the standard for everything that followed, and it's still hard to top, even though the effects
Boom.
seem a little dated. But you have Christopher Reeve
I was gonna say, and he's amazing.
giving two great performances because he's great as Clark Kent and he's great as Superman.
Yeah.
Then you have Gene Hackman, who is just absolutely magnificent chewing the scenery here as Lex Luthor, and just Ned Beatty as Otisberg.
Yes.
But then, wait a minute. Mark, Riley, Greg, Darina. Which musical score
Yes.
Thank you.
comes even close
Yeah.
to topping John Williams? Nothing.
I mean, Cody, it's close.
I'm
It's
just
close.
glad you didn't play Creed,
what it
man.
is.
It's close, you know. Oh shit.
I mean,
he's,
I know,
he's
I know
reaching for Creed.
I know he is. Damn it!
Yeah,
I just
you
reminded him.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Like
Uh-huh.
Christopher Reeve.
I know.
Christopher
I know what
Reeve
you're
is
doing.
Superman. Like, okay, so remember that the brilliance of Christopher Reeve is like that he could play Clark Kent, like, oh, Lois, Lois,
Yeah.
he's like this, he's so bumbling and lovable. And then, like, remember in Superman 2 when Lois is trapped under the elevator at the Eiffel Tower and it's falling, and then Superman swings under and he stops it, and she looks up in surprise and he goes, I believe this is your floor.
Yeah.
You're just going,
He's the best.
I
It's
mean,
one of
that scene
those-
you posted, I think it's the GIF you posted of him,
Yeah,
of him
it's- I was just
becoming
bringing that up.
Superman, right?
Somebody-
like, from Clark Kent to Superman. It's
Somebody
so great.
posted it, and I it's something I always remember from that movie is when he toys with telling Lois, and he takes off his glasses and just stands up. I mean, not even, and it's like you don't even know he's doing it. It just happens. He transforms into Superman.
Yes.
And I put it out there like, look at the change that happens. That thing, it shows you how much this sticks with you. This movie, this performance, Christopher Reeve, Superman, all that. Because that thing, I started looking at, I'm like, damn. I mean, I had that thing. That was like over 400 retweets. What I wrote off of the original post that had like thousands. So it's
I'm gonna
one of those.
unfavorite it. I'm kidding. No, I agree. And
Fine,
it-
go
and it-
watch a Batman Returns.
Yeah, because it's so good.
Where's that
It makes
from?
me feel so much yummier.
I do like it. I've always
Shut up,
defended
Cody.
it. I've always defended it with you.
wait, Serena,
What?
Batman Returns?
Yes, I love it. I'm not sorry.
Where
I
did
love
you
it
see
so
it for
much.
the first
Here's
time?
the thing. In the theater. Like, yeah, literally when it came out, there it is. Stupid Creed.
Just wait.
I was like 10 or 11. When did it come out? Like 92?
92,
Yeah, so I
92.
was 10 and I saw it in the theater. And I remember specifically from reading comic books, I was like, this is a very different non-comic book movie. Like, I understood that. I know it's not the best comic book movie, but it's my favorite movie that's based on a comic book, right? And in the sense that it's such a wacky world that Tim Burton created. Are you guys not taking me seriously right
No,
now? 'Cause you
absolutely.
hate it?
No,
Okay.
100%. I hear you.
This is your show.
I love
I was like,
the
I will
passion.
fight you guys about Batman Returns. But maybe it's because of Catwoman. I think Michelle Pfeiffer as Catwoman is
Yeah.
one of the best performances we've gotten in any superhero movie. It doesn't matter how you feel about the movie. Her performance, she's the best Catwoman we've gotten.
Yeah.
Similar to whoever you deem is Christopher Reeve as Superman.
Right,
Whether
right.
it's, whatever is your Batman.
Well,
she's
it's both.
incredible.
I think Danny DeVito brings a lot of pathos to that role too.
I agree.
You like feel sorry for him.
Yes.
And at the same time, you're scared. Of
And
the
he's
guy,
an
too.
asshole too.
Yeah.
He's supposed
Oh,
to
he's-
be this like beast, right?
Yeah.
Like Tim Burton obviously did not care what the Penguin was in the comics, but he created a really bizarre version that, like you said, Greg, is both scary and also you can feel bad for the guy because
Yeah.
of what happened to him.